This is the third time I've had to record this intro because there has been a procession of private planes flying overhead. Every time I start a new take, another plane flies over. So let's do this quickly. This video is an update to the very first video I posted to this channel, the workbench box that I had built. I told you at that time that I had wanted to make additions to the box for organization on the inside, but also add a shooting board to the underside of the lid. And that's what this video is about. Enjoy. The first step was to take this Baltic birch plywood with a plastic veneer and cut it off to length at my sawhorse. This is the lid from before, and all I was going to do was flip it over and apply the shooting board to the back. So I had already made some marks. This was just a piece of 3/8 inch plywood that was left over from an old sign from a previous production of Othello. Here is the line that's going to show the inside edge of the shooting board. If I place it any closer to the next line over, I run the risk of interference by the interior cleats that hold the lid in place. The plywood that I'm using for the shooting board came from an old cabinet. I didn't plan it this way, but the cutoff from the length is going to turn out to be a perfect stop for the shooting board. Two of the edges of this board are factory cut, and so they are going to be my reference edges. And they have been set back the distance you see there to avoid interfering with the other cleats, the longitudinal cleats in the box. And so I make my marks and draw a cutting line to match those marks. Hard on plasticized wood, but effective. The really great advantage of this type of wood is that it's going to automatically give me a smooth, slick surface for sliding the planes across. As it turned out, the cutoff made a perfect ledge for my planes. Oh, one of them seems to be a little bit scratchy. I'll have to clean up that wall. Yep, there's a slight little burr right there. So I cut off the first offcut to the width of the second offcut, and there I have my 90-degree shooting board. And I make two 45-degree marks. I just guessed where they would go and cut them off. And then I used my block plane to square off all of the necessary edges, except the two reference edges. The factory edges stayed untouched. Interesting note, the plasticized veneer nicked my blades, both on my smoothing plane and the block plane. And so after this, I had to sharpen the blades again to get them true. I attached the base plate. Everything had to be pre-drilled and then countersunk because of the plastic coating on this wood, and then screwed together. But it all worked out. It's tedious, but then I was able to apply the 245s. For the second 45-degree plate, I thought that I might have to cut off a little at an angle on the end to give clearance for the cleats, so I made sure to screw it in far away from that edge. And then, when I put it into my box, I discovered I didn't need to cut anything off. It fit very nicely without any interference. So then I grabbed a piece of pallet wood, I think it was oak, cut it at 45 degrees on both ends, cut it off to fit inside the track, and then made marks to create the final taper to snug it into the 45-degree track. It was while I was planing down that taper that I realized that both my blades had been nicked by the plasticized veneer. So as soon as I got this taper done, I took my planes to the stones for honing. And though the taper was precise, it didn't quite fit snug enough the way I wanted. So, though it's hard to see here, I'm adding blue painter's tape to the far side edge to create even more of a taper to help that snug in. And to test the finished product, I grabbed some fingerboard, cut it off at 45 degrees roughly, and then put it in the shooting board. Having honed my block plane, it turned out beautifully. And there in the glow of the setting sun is my new shooting board attachment for the lid to my workbench box. If you enjoyed this video, please comment, hit that like button, and subscribe to see my future videos. Also, check out my previous videos. And until next time, thank you for watching.